Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole, and welcome back to another live. How are you all today? Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I was not gonna go live today, but I said let me jump on here. It is a lot going on, y'all. I know that and hopefully y'all can hear me. I think you can. Let me see something. I think y'all can. Um, it's been a whirlwind with Ian Child. When Ian came and wrecked shop, okay? Um, it's really devastating to see y'all. I just wanted to come and kind of give my thoughts about it and kind of talk about it from my perspective, just give my, opinion. You know, really frankly, nobody cares about my opinion regarding this. I probably don't even care, child. I'm just talking about it because I live in Florida and I've been through a hurricane before, and it was nothing like y'all see um, from Ian on the TV and things of that nature. And then too, I just wanted to chit chat with y'all because I miss y'all. It's only been a few days, but I miss y'all. I told y'all I didn't found something I like to do, so when I don't do it, it's like, do y'all ever feel like that? You really find something you like to do, and then when you don't do it or you miss the opportunity to do it, it's like you wishing you would have just went ahead and did it. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So y'all see I'm in a different setup right now. I'll be back to my original setup soon. I wanted to try something different because I ain't gonna lie, I feel kind of blah today. And so I'm going to put on a little bit of makeup while I'm chatting with y'all. And child ain't gonna be nothing. Listen, I'm not a makeup artist or nothing like that. I just like to little dibble and dabble a little bit, okay? Um, but yeah, what y'all been doing? I hope everything is going well. If y'all could see what it looks like outside right now, it is a beautiful day. Um, it's a beautiful day. There's no wind. It's very calm. The weather is very nice, y'all. Like this morning, it was probably 65. And I don't remember the last time it was 65, child. That might have been in January of this year, if that. So it's very nice outside. It's a very nice day. But this is always how it is after a storm, a hurricane or tropical storm or something like that. But yeah, Ian, hopefully the people that they told to leave, hopefully they evacuated, especially for the zones that were supposed to, that it was, a little bit more safe for them to evacuate. I hope they evacuated. There's just so much water. And a lot of times too, y'all, this is just my opinion. The news put a lot of sauce on stuff sometimes, but I don't doubt, and I feel like the news always, not just with this, but with anything, they show the extreme of the story. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for like shock value and things like that. I mean, that's just what it is. But I feel like I don't doubt that a lot of that community up in the Tampa area, up in the Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, Naples, like I don't doubt that it's water everywhere, that things were destroyed, buildings destroyed, houses destroyed, because it was near, I think they said it was near a category 5, y'all. So if you have any family, friends, or anything, please make sure to check on them. I'm sure it's a lot of people that still don't have power. I think, was that yesterday they were saying that it was like a million people in Florida. Because think about it, y'all. When the storm, I think it stopped category 3 in Cuba, and then moved westward. Was moving westward towards Florida, and the cone. I think the cone, based on the satellite or whatever, those photos, the cone started to get a little bit narrow, but all of Florida like no part of Florida was not affected by the storm. So even though like where I live, we weren't in that particular cone, but all of the winds and the rain and the tornado warnings, like it was a lot of tornadoes. There was reports of a tornado near the airport, and that it some of the planes, like a few of the planes or jets or something, went over or turned over or whatever. So those storms, y'all, are no joke. And then you talk about storm surges and things like that for people that live by the beach. Y'all, I already like moisturize my face, so I'm just using like a pore, one of those pore things. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. Depends on how my skin is looking to me. Like I don't have bad skin or anything like that, or I rarely get breakouts. Um, but if I want like a more smooth appearance, or if I'm just using like a little bit of what I'm gonna do today, a little bit of my, what is it called? This little it's like a tint almost. It's like one of them little drugstore tints, child, because to be honest, where I live, it's so humid here. Yeah, I don't, especially too, since I don't work in corporate environment anymore. I don't wear a lot of, like a ton of makeup. Like it's never full coverage, child. It's never full coverage. It's like a little bit to cover up your little dark marks or whatever. So sometimes I'll mix it, but today I'm feeling a little blah, so I might be a little overboard. But anywho, so yeah, so we got tornado warnings. Um, and I remember I told y'all, I was like, when a hurricane comes, you're supposed to bring like everything inside your barbecue pit, your chairs, anything that could be flying debris, right? And I didn't bring in like my chairs from my backyard and my like I didn't ask my husband where he was like, oh, I don't think we need to bring it in because like we're just getting like a little bit of wind or whatever. Girl, I looked out there where that pit was going. You heard me? That pit was not where it was. And my chairs either. My baby was like, Mom, where the chairs? I said, girl, where the chairs at? The chairs then blew away. I said, so if we were getting things like that, I can't imagine what they were getting in that area. And I feel like all of Tampa didn't get it severely. Of course, like I said, no part of Florida was not affected by this particular storm. So, but there were more areas. There was a particular area affected more severely, right? So yeah, but I have to tell y'all, like I've been a lot of places in Florida. I've been a lot of places in Florida, y'all, just for like staycation, things like that. And one of my favorite places in the world, I have to say, is Sanibel. Sanibel Island. And Sanibel is in Fort Myers. It's like a little bit. Is it? I'm trying to think. Is it near Naples? It's near Naples, but it's a little bit further than Naples, y'all. And Sanibel is one of my favorite places in the world. Like y'all, it's only about 6,000 people maybe that live on the island. It is the most, in my opinion, um, it's one of the most peaceful places that I've been. A place that I felt like I could just, let my hair down, for lack of better words, and just relax. You can do so many things. You can bike ride. They have like these little beach shops there, these little quaint restaurants. It's really nostalgic for me uh when I think about Sanibel, because it was, when I went there, it was for something good, and it was for like a celebration or whatever. And I spent most of my time, like I stayed at like a little it was like, hmm, it was, it like a cottage. It was like a cottage style place, and it was on the beach. And when you come out of the cottage, you walk on the beach, right? And so it was like a private, kind of like a private beach, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And y'all, when I saw those pictures, okay, because to get to Sanibel, right, it's and I like it too because it's secluded. I love like a secluded place. I don't know, I just feel a type of way. I like a secluded place. I don't really like, folks to be knowing where I am if I'm vacation and stuff like that. And it's that type of place. Um, and to get to the island, it's about a 3 mile causeway. It's like a bridge over the ocean. And it's about 3 miles. Y'all, Hurricane Ian then broke part of the causeway. And the causeway is in the sea, in the ocean. Y'all, there is no connection of to the mainland from Sanibel. Those people cannot get to the mainland. Like, can y'all imagine that? Like, I was trying to find a picture, but I couldn't find one that where you could like really, really see. Like, can you imagine? It was like pieces of concrete just crumbled. Pieces of concrete just crumbled, and it was broken. It was like the kind of like the a little bit of the end of it just broken and in the water. So they're having to have like boats and taking people from there by air and stuff like that. And I couldn't believe that, y'all. I was like, you talking about, like, that is I can't imagine it. That's crazy to me. What kind, like, that's the type of storm this was. Breaking causeways. And that's concrete, pieces of concrete. And they even said that the bridges and some of the structures and stuff were old enough to be able to withstand something like that. And baby, Mother Nature said, not this time. It ain't gonna withstand this time. Y'all gonna have to rebuild this time. I'm coming through wherever I want to, and you're gonna deal with it. Basically, that's what Hurricane Ian said. When I saw that guy, it broke my heart because that place, it's close to like Fort Myers. But if you ever heard of like Captiva Island, that's what that is. Sanibel Captiva Island. Like I said, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It's one of my most favorite places. And like I couldn't believe it. And like I said, it's like maybe 6,000 people that live on the island. Um, and they can't even get, even when you're driving to Sanibel, it's like it's a secluded area, y'all. It's like when we were there, it was like one grocery store. It was one grocery store right before you get on the causeway. But before that, it's just like trees and foliage and stuff. And but once you get in that island, for me, it was like a whole different world. It was, it's a place of its own. It's very unique. It's a very quaint place. Things like that. So yeah, I couldn't believe that Ian did that. Child, I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So hopefully everybody there is doing well. I would imagine a lot of people don't have power. That'd be like the worst part, y'all, to be honest. you can deal with everything else, but without the power, and especially because of the heat, you know. But I would say though, I don't know what the temperature is there right now, but if it's cool where I am, because like this morning it was like 65. So if it's cool where I am, usually if you go a little bit more north, it's cooler anyway. So hopefully they have a little bit of cool air, and things like that. To kind of get them, because when it's hot, it's really, it gets really steamy, without the power and stuff like that. So a lot of them still don't have power, and now it's rebuilding time, right? And not only do you have to rebuild, I mean, because they said businesses that were there for years are lost. Even though there's no power, they may not even be able to reconnect it because of the type of damage there has been to the structure. And it's not even safe to try to reconnect the power or repair. They're going to have to rebuild. And imagine how long that's going to take. They, of course, when these types of storms happen, they have crews that come from other cities to help and things like that. But and that's great, but it's still going to take time to do all of that. And it's just like a waiting game. So please pray for the people in that part of Florida, in the Tampa area, that they are doing well, that they that they're able to get some kind of peace. And it's hopefully they have a plan to rebuild. And if they need places to go or stay or whatever, that they have that, you know what I'm saying, and that they don't have to wait, for help, so yeah. So I told y'all too that I wanted to come over here and chit chat. Y'all, Coolio then passed away. Lord have mercy. I said, it's always something. Y'all, Coolio then passed away. Allegedly, I don't know for sure. They were saying that he had some kind of it was like heart failure or something like that. That's what they're saying. That's how he passed. That he was in the restroom or something, and he was at a friend's house, because from what I read, it said that I guess he was living in Las Vegas, and he went down to LA to a friend's house, I guess to stay there for a few days so he can get his passport renewed or something, because he had shows overseas. And then I think like next week or something. And he went to the restroom, and they was like he was in there a long time or something. So they, I guess went to check on him. And girl, he was, he had passed and everything. And they said a few days before that, like he was fine. He was fine. So they thinking he had, and they said they tried to revive him for like 45 minutes. But they said a few days before that he was fine. You know what that remind me of? That remind me of those basketball players. I've never heard of this happening to a football player. I wonder why. Or maybe I probably just never heard of it. But it used to be where like basketball players, you would hear of them just like falling out at practice or while they're playing from some type of heart issue. That they never knew they had. And I can remember when was I in high school too? I think I was in high school. Not at my particular high school, but my cousin in his high school, he had actually a teammate who they were practicing, and he was fine weeks and days before and stuff like that. And then during practice, he fell out and he passed. And they found out that he had some type of heart issue that he had never been diagnosed with. And I guess too, if you don't have any symptoms or you don't think you have a heart issue or there's no reason for you to get your heart checked, like most likely you're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time people have to have some type of issue that, or symptom that says, okay, I need to go get this checked out, or I need to go to the doctor or something like that. But most people, if you don't experience that, then you're not going to go. And sometimes, I mean, you get your annual checkups and things like that. But sometimes those annual checkups are like basic checkups. And for you to find some of this stuff out, you need to do like a deep dive. And so I know someone who, and they were young, they were in high school. So that's what made me think of that, just falling out or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace to Coolio. Prayers to his family, his friends. I pray for peace for them, that they find peace. That was kind of sad to hear, y'all. What else been going on? What y'all up to? Yeah, I'm just putting a little bit, as y'all can tell, I told y'all I don't go overboard now. I don't go overboard. Yeah, I'm gonna try now that now the end is over, right? What I'm gonna do is I need to sit down this weekend and I'm gonna figure out my schedule for the next week. To figure out what videos I want to put out next week. I should have brought my little notebook in here. But yes, so I'm going to start cranking out lives and going live, whatever. My goal is to actually go live every day. Y'all say, Ashley, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to go? Because because it's something that I actually like. And I feel like I don't know, I feel like I'm talking to my friends, or I'm talking to a friend. So I kind of want to I want to try to go live every day. But I don't know if that's possible. If not every day, every other day. But I really want to start cranking out my videos and my lives and things like that. Lives mostly because I really honestly, with the type of lifestyle that I have, y'all, and the type of schedule that I have, I don't really have a lot of time to edit. Hopefully in the near future I'll have start having enough time to do that. But until then, I got to make it do what it do, to get information out. And so look forward to the lives that I have coming. I'm excited about it, y'all. I'm excited about it. So also, if it's anything that y'all want me to discuss or touch on, please let me know. Even if you think, oh man, she already talked about this, or we already know about this, believe me, it's some stuff about mental health that you think you know, but you don't know. You think you know, but you don't know, y'all. And that's fair because, to regular people, if you're not like a therapist or whatever, you wouldn't be privy to it. You're just kind of going by hearsay, and you may have someone that that may have been diagnosed with a certain thing and things like that, and they give you their experience, which is good, so you have a kind of like a general understanding. But I want to be able to kind of like break it down for you all. So let me know if there's anything in particular as far as a diagnosis, or any question that you might have, where to find resources and things like that. So yeah. Okay, y'all. So let me see. Let me see something real quick. Okay, so I was trying to Y'all, so mm-mm. This lady, have y'all heard this? I can't see y'all. I probably won't be doing this. This news anchor, she this news anchor died by suicide because of her the fiance called the wedding off. Oh my goodness. Um this is, oh my goodness. Wow. To me, okay, when you hear stuff like this, I mean, this particular situation, she said this man broke the wedding off with her it was 7 weeks before the wedding. Um, where he broke it off and was like, I guess he didn't want to get married or whatever, right? And so she is like, oh, she couldn't take it anymore. Like and then she went to text her friend, letting her know that the fiance allegedly said he hated her and that he would feel like $1 million um once she's out of his life and stuff like that. This is what she had told the friend. Um Y'all, and she was looking up on Google ways to, unalive herself. Um, y'all, this is sad. This is sad, and you could think about this from all. And she was only 27 years old. This is sad. You can think about this and look at this from different points of view because, again, you go back to someone having poor coping skills. You know, not being able to handle any type of conflict in their lives, someone who's triggered very easily. And what do you do when you are a person like that? Because see, you got to know yourself, you know what I'm saying? And if you know yourself, then you know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. Oh, sorry, y'all. To prevent some things, you know what I'm saying? You know that you got to get some help, but it's a lot of people who are just not who you aren't self-aware. People are not self-aware, and it could be just little things like, oh, I know myself. I already know if I do this. Just like remember when I talked about Mike Tyson, y'all, and he was like, I know I get tempted when I go gambling or, when I go to the club or whatever, right? And he was like, so I don't go in those places because I know I'm going to be tempted to get into things that I used to get into and it's not going to be good for me. So you got to be self-aware and know, like what your triggers are, and what you're going to do when you are triggered, right? To me, I feel like sometimes, like this situation, her saying, oh, well, he broke off the wedding with me, and I'm devastated. Yes, that is devastation. No one wants to be, what do they call it? Jilted? Is that what you? They haven't even made it down the aisle, child. I think jilted is when you at the when you already down there, and then they say, no, I'm not gonna do it. This is 7 weeks before. Um, of course, okay, he called it off. Of course, you're gonna be devastated. It's a devastating situation. Like you spent time with this person, you've been with this person, saw the rest of your life with this person and things like that. But you have got to learn how to move on. And if someone says, and this is any relationship, if someone says, okay, I thought I wanted to be with you. And they may not say it the way that you would have said it, right? They may not say it in a nice way. They may not say it in a friendly way. They may not say it in a way where you can eat it, take it in bite size. You know what I'm saying? They might just give it all to you. look, I thought that I've been thinking about this. I thought I could be with you, but I realized that I can't. And so, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're going to be devastated. You're going to be sad. But guess what? You have to accept what they said, right? If that's what they said and that's what they decided, that's what it is. And you have to accept it. You can't try to change anybody's mind. Well, I mean, I guess you could try, but at that point, like, it's kind of like, for what? They said what they said. And so this lady, right? This man told you this, you were devastated. And then you say, okay, well, I'm going to unalive myself. I feel like some people, and not every person does this, y'all. Please don't get me wrong, but this is just my opinion. Some people use that as a manipulation tactic, right? It's because, see, now, even though she's not here, it's kind of like, I'm gonna let everybody know he is the reason why I'm doing this. So then it's kind of like he's still here, so he has to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, she manipulating the situation. Now he's gonna have to deal with me allowing myself because of him for the rest of his life. And now, how is he going to enjoy, whatever he's trying to do? Or, like, I feel like sometimes some people try to manipulate with that. And a lot of people who think about that, who think about unaliving themselves, they don't really they're not boisterous about it. You know what I'm saying? They will do subtle things, but you will never know. They might not tell anybody, they'll just do it. And you people will find out later. You know what I'm saying? But they're not. I think they said she texted her friend, and you know um yeah, she texted her friend and all of this stuff. And sometimes people are not gonna do that, but this is a classic example of not having good uh, uh coping skills. You've got to learn effective coping skills. I'm going to do a video. I have it on my little notepad. That's one of the videos that I'm going to be doing, or lives that I'm going to be doing next week, about, how do you learn effective coping skills? How do you implement it? How do you know if you don't have effective coping skills? One of the clear signs I'll tell you right now is that whatever challenge you're going through right now, and whatever you're doing, if it's not working, then you don't have good coping skills. Like, if you still having trouble accepting and coping with whatever's going on, then you may have to modify the coping skills that you currently have. If you are trying to numb what you're feeling, you don't have good coping skills. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people go to drugs and alcohol to cope with a lot of things. And that's going to get you up a creek. You're going to be in a pickle with that, baby, because once you get addicted, you're going to be looking for that every time you go through any little trigger, any little thing that gets you upset, any little thing you don't even feel like dealing with, things that would have been able to handle before. You can't handle nothing now, because once you hear, you're like, oh, I ain't about to deal with that. You want to get the drugs. Mm-hmm. That's what you're going to do. And that's how people get addicted, one of the ways. So that was sad, y'all. That was crazy. um wow. So y'all, I have a few more errands to do today. How long I've been on here? Yeah, a few more errands to do today, a few more things to do. And but I wanted to hop on here, just do a little chit chat with y'all. Oh, did y'all know why y'all didn't tell me it was National Coffee Day? I think that was yesterday. I think, was it National Coffee Day? Coffee Day. Yeah. Was it yesterday? Oh no, it's no, that's saying yep, it was yesterday, National Coffee Day. I did not know that, y'all. I did not know that. But I'll tell y'all, I am loving Starbucks has a drink that salted caramel, sweet cream, cold brew, whatever that long name, sweet cream, cold brew. Oh, that thing is good, y'all. And it's like, I know I told y'all it's like a simple coffee. It's not, it doesn't have all the frills and all of the uh what is it called? That foam. It has foam, but it doesn't have like whipped cream and all that stuff on it. It's a nice little iced coffee, simple iced coffee. I love it. I love it. I love that. And so yeah, so I've gotten that this week too. That salted caramel sweet cream cold brew. If you like simple coffee and you don't like a lot of sugar, or because it has cream in it, but if you don't like a lot of sugar in your coffee, that's probably a good option. Or if you're an iced Americano type of coffee drinker, then yeah, that's kind of like what it is. It was something else I was just about to say, y'all, and I forgot that quick. Hold on, hold on. Oh, y'all, Okay, so I told y'all that I do not watch TV, but y'all, okay, so usually, like, I will, if I'm in the mood to watch shows and stuff, I'll like I'll turn it either on Hulu, or I choose one of those little apps from Prime or something, and I'll catch up on like shows that I used to watch, because I used to watch TV way more than I watch it now. um i i I would say I probably pretty much get, because I don't watch the news, y'all. I don't watch like if I watch a series, it's like an old series that is already, been on and it's over or something like that. Like for example, probably like a couple months ago, I watched Better Call Saul. That was good. When it first came out, I didn't it looked like, I was like, oh, I'm not interested in it. But when I started watching it, that show is bomb. That is a bomb show right there. That's good. Um, so I'm like, I catch it after the fact, y'all. I catch it after the fact because I have so much to do and I be focused on a lot of other things that I just don't have time. And sometimes if I have a show on, I'm doing something else. Like I'm doing something else and it's just playing and I'm not really paying attention. Um, but tell me if y'all are like, what kind of TV show watchers are you? Like, I like the shows like those interesting shows. Y'all, I love like 90 Day Fiance, those type of shows. Oh, not what is it called? 90 Day Lockup. Is it called 90 Day Lockup or 60 Day Locked Up? Like shows like that and documentaries, baby. I be on them documentaries. You hear me? Ooh, wait, I love a documentary. I love me a good documentary. Sometimes if I really want to watch some, that's what I be looking for, a documentary. But I but I said I was trying to watch something else. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was. I was looking for a documentary. If it come to me, I'll let y'all know. And I ended up not watching it, but I was looking for a documentary, and I came across a show that I used to watch that had something to do with the 90 Day Fiance, which was the family Chantel. Girl, the family Chantel, y'all. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if it's any new episodes because I never knew how many seasons they had. Girl, I First of all, I knew something. Like I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say that it's not good or whatever, right? Because I mean, you can meet people anywhere. You see what I'm saying? I mean, your partner, your mate, it could be way across the world, right? You have to be a open and receptive type of person to go through that particular process of the 90 day vacation. And it's not impossible, but you got to know what you're getting into. You know what I'm saying? It's just like meeting somebody where you are. They just live in a different country or whatever. But you can I feel like I'm a good judge of character. Like, you can pretty much tell when something me at least, I'd be like, oh no, that ain't about to go right. Mm-mm. Like, you could just tell. But I did not know, um I did not know that they had four, I guess they had 4 seasons. I'm looking up now, y'all. They had 4 seasons, and I saw the ones I started looking at, because I think I saw season 2. I can't remember. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. I was watching it last night, and the episodes I was looking at was when Pedro, he had an interest in looking for his dad. And the information that his mom had told him was kind of like, oh, I was walking home from school one day, and he rolled up in his car or whatever. And it sounds like basically his dad was helping, from what he was told, was helping the family monetarily. If they needed something, he would get it for them. Right. And then a year later, he came back. I forget the circumstances in which I guess he was helping them, and then he went away or something. And then a year later, he came back and saw his mom again, and was like, like, what's up? And she like, who are you? And he like, oh, remember I gave you a ride last year or whatever. She like, oh, okay. Baby, Pedro mama something else. And so they started talking, getting into a relationship. She ended up having Pedro. Then she found out the man was married and had kids. And she said he did not tell her that, and but probably by that time she had a child with him. She probably loved him by this, you know what I mean, fell for the man or whatever. She ended up getting pregnant again and had had the sister Nicole. And so then after that, the dad, since he had a family or whatever already, he was married, he had other kids and stuff. She was kind of tired of him going back and forth. Sometimes she would see him, sometimes she wouldn't. He wouldn't come see the kids, or whatever happened. And she told him basically to get out of her life. Like, I'm not about to be dealing with this. That man, this is just what I'm thinking in my head, y'all. That man might have told her that he was gonna leave his wife and all this stuff, and she was believing him. She even had 2 kids by him. So anyway, so she hadn't seen him ever again. So now these 2 kids she got, they growing up, they struggling, you know what I'm saying? She trying to make ends meet and stuff like that. And now they're grown, especially Pedro. His sister, not so much, because his sister, she has suppressed, and this is my opinion, she has suppressed how she feels about her dad. She has suppressed how she feels about her dad, and has tried to accept basically that he wasn't in her life, and that he basically didn't, she feels like he didn't want to be bothered with us. Like, I don't got no feelings for him. I'm not going to give him that power of feeling a type of way when he don't feel a type of way about me. And so, but Pedro, longing he is longing for that. He wants to know who his dad is. He wants to know who he looks like, who where his mannerisms are from. I mean, he was named after the man. And he's like, I've never seen him. And that's really weird. Now the mom says that the dad will come over and stuff, but but according to Pedro, she was seeing him to the kids to their room, and they wouldn't see him. And the mom was telling them it was because he didn't want to see y'all. So she was in the room. So then the question becomes, why did you let the man in your house? I mean, you had already told him that you didn't want to be with him no more, to leave you alone, and this, and that. And he agreed because he left. but every so often looked like he was coming back. And so you let him in the house, you let him in the house and didn't require him to see those children. I couldn't have did that. That's a different type of level. I probably couldn't have did that. And so now the mom, she doesn't understand why her children, because even though Nicole don't want to have anything to do with trying to find a dad and stuff like that, she's still hurt, by not growing up with a dad, in the house and stuff. So when her and Pedro talk about it, both of them become upset, you know. And the mom looking at them like, she told them one day, y'all, I was like, this mama is no joke, baby. She told them one day, oh, y'all emotional today. She said, why y'all so emotional? And she's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's in the past. Why you keep bringing up the past? Okay, yeah, that's the way you feel about their dad is one way, but they want to know who their daddy is, lady. Like you won't get the kids no answers. You act like you don't know where the man is, who the man was, what he said, what he did. She wouldn't tell them nothing. Not until they got to their grandma's house, and the grandma was like, well, yeah, told them the whole story or whatever. And so Pedro like, well, so you did you love him or not? And she like, no. The mama cut though, y'all. She like, no, I didn't love him. And he was like, okay, but you had 2 kids by him. She like, yeah. I said, baby, his mama is not playing. Like, this is how, and you know what I said? At least the mom is being honest about her feelings, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, and believe me, I'm not saying that anybody should lie to their children. You shouldn't lie to your children, but sometimes you have to, it's a balance being a parent. You got to decipher whether this is going to be, is it going to help them or hinder them? Because a man is not in their lives anyway. You know what I'm saying? And he asked his mom, were him and his sister a mistake? And she was like, yeah. My heart broke for him. I'm like, how do you tell your children that? How do you say that? It sounds like what Pedro is gathering is that, okay, my dad came around, he was helping them monetarily, so that's why they kept him around. So he like, oh, they were using him, and now since I was raised by them, they have basically raised me to take advantage of people. So now remember, go back to the first season or whatever, second season, when Chantel's family was trying to tell her, hey, his mom and sister want him to get to America by any means necessary. Because maybe, and the mom, I remember her mom saying specifically, maybe they're trying to get money to try to fund some type of business that they're trying to build, and they need the American dollar to do so, things like that. And he was like, of course, he's like, no, that's my mom. Don't talk about my mom. Don't talk about my sister. They've been there for me. My mom raised me on her own. She's not like that. So now he's starting to think, and he putting the pieces together like, okay, but if y'all was using my dad for money because, y'all didn't have much and he was willing to give, and she was willing to have kids to get, right? Then that's how y'all raised me. So maybe subconsciously I'm using Chantel. Like, even though that wasn't his intention, that's what he's doing. Because see, now you get into the part where they've gotten a little bit more stable. They done bought a house and everything, and now he's starting to pull back from Chantel a little bit. He didn't become a real estate agent. He's getting, comfortable with the people in his office. They all speak Spanish, and things like that. He feels a little bit more closer to his community and all of this, and he's doing well in his job. He's making friends, and he's staying outside the house a little bit more, right? So Pedro's starting to feel himself a little bit. He getting a little bit more comfortable in America now, right? And I just couldn't, but I couldn't believe that his mom said to him that they were a mistake. Like they were, and she told him, she was like, y'all should be lucky that y'all were born. I said, wow. Wow. But I mean, at least the mom was honest. But like I said, it's so interesting to see that Nicole, she's hurt by it, but she's not willing to give the dad that power of being upset because she feels like he doesn't feel anything for me. He's never came back to see how I was doing, how I would do to my graduation or anything like that. So I'm not going to feel anything for him. I'm not going to give him even that because he didn't give me anything. But Pedro is really hurting him. And he's a young black guy and things like that. And he did find his two half brothers. They live in the same city as his mom. And so he asked the brothers, well, how did y'all find out that we were, here or whatever? And the half brother, by the way, has the same name as Pedro, same exact name. He's a junior as well. He said that his dad, when he was like in his middle 20s, his dad was like, organized some papers for me for the business or whatever. He said he found some papers that were torn up. And and he was like, oh, maybe this is important. Let me look through this. Let me try to piece it back together. And it was a letter, he said, from his mom, from Pedro's mom, saying, why don't you come see the kids? You don't come see your children and things like that, right? And so this son took it to his mama and said, Mama, I think you need to see this. And so his mom saw it, and of course, she got upset and things like that. And so Pedro, he was like, because he was under the impression that his mom told the dad to leave and don't come back, and that's what happened. And she didn't, like, it was on her. So he was like, oh, I feel better because now I know at least my mom was reaching out to him, letting him know, hey, you need to be a dad, you need to be a father, and stuff like this. And okay, and yeah, you need to be a father and things like this. And so he went back to his mom, was like, I need to apologize to my mom. She did try, blah, blah, blah. And so when he told his mom about this letter that the half brother found, the mama said, I don't know who. The mama said, I don't know who that was because I ain't never wrote him no letter. Y'all, I was hollering. She said, I never wrote him no letter. So she said the last the last time I saw him was 2010, and he gave me 5,000 pesos, and I ain't seen him since because well, you gone. And she said, I ain't never wrote no letter. And so baby Pedro got mad immediately. He like, wait, you lying, this. Hey. But see, too, you got to keep in mind, because Pedro was telling his mom, his grandma and stuff, like, y'all using men. He was mad, y'all. Y'all got to go back and look at it. He like, y'all was using men, like, for money. Like, what is this? And now my sister, she with a married dude. Like, y'all ain't right or whatever. So the grandma said, the grandma said, love is crazy. She said, ain't no man with one woman. And so they was trying him like, Chance, this is, the mom was like, this is our culture. This is how we are where we live. Like, this is what it is. And so Chantel is not allowing you to be you as a man because this is what men do. That's the type of mind frame that they have. And he's like, no, I'm with one woman. That's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? They like, whatever, think what you want, but this is how we do it in the DR, okay? And so the mom told him, she was like, I never wrote your dad any letter telling him to come see his kids or anything like that. So then Pedro called the half brother and was like, can you tell me, like, was my name on the letter? Was my mom's name or my sister's name on the letter? And y'all, the half brother was like, no, there wasn't no names on there. He said, so Pedro said, I need you to get me the letter as soon as possible. He said, no, I'm not going to be able to do that because remember, I gave it to my mom. And baby, she was so mad, she probably burned that letter. So Pedro said, yeah, I understand. She probably did. She probably did. So now the question for me becomes, did the dad have other kids besides Pedro and Nicole? Because if the mama says she didn't write him no letter, I mean, she could be lying, could not, but it looked like to me the mom just being honest with herself and being honest with her kids, because she didn't told them so up to this time, like, you guys should have been lucky you were born. No, I did not love your dad. Yes, he was helping us monetarily when we needed things. He was there. If I needed something, I asked him, he get it. Um, I had a one child with him, didn't know he was married. Then the second child came. I knew he was married. It is what it is. I said, okay, you're not gonna be with me. Go ahead and go with your family or whatever, right? So she being honest up until this point, I don't know why she would lie about her sending a letter. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, I was like, well, the question becomes, did he have even more children besides the children with the wife and the children with Pedro's mom? Because the half brother said there was no name on there, no kids' names were on there. The daddy was a Rolling Stone. I said, this is something. This is something. That show is interesting. It's interesting because you get to see a lot of family dynamics. And the caveat is that it's a scripted show, right? Or no? It's like a reality type show. So, you're going to get probably set up scenes and things like that, but you can kind of see how like these things do happen in families. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, that was so interesting. Even though like parents, you learn this, I think, as you get older. When you become an adult, the older you get, the more you understand. You don't understand as a child, right? But the more you get older, the more you understand that your parents, you as a child, you feel like every decision that they make is because it's for the kids. Everything that they do is for the kids. But parents don't make all decisions. Their decisions are not based around their kids. A lot of times it's based around themselves and what they want and what they feel and what they, you know what I mean? So you have to always kind of take that into account. And I also think that it's a learning lesson, right, for parents, that even though you may not have felt anything for the dad and things fell apart with the dad or whatever, and even though he wasn't around, you still have to understand how it would hurt your children when they get older that their dad was never around, especially if they find out that he had a whole family of sons. Because I don't think he had any other girls, not with the wife. Now, like I say, he might have had some other kids based on that letter, or, I don't know. But that he had another family in the same city that he was with, because the half brother said that their dad was there practically almost every day, unless he said, oh, I'm going out for business for a week, or he would leave for a couple weeks. And apparently that's what was when he was with Pedro and Nicole's mom, right? Allegedly, we don't know. But they said he would leave sometimes. But what they remember is that they had a dad that was present. And so you can imagine and have to understand that that will hurt your children, right? To know that and to feel that their dad didn't want to have anything to do with them, because that's their part of their identity. That's their family, right? And this and Pedro is named after the dad. So it's like, I'm named after somebody I've never even seen. Like, I don't know anything about his side of the family. I don't know what he's like, what he looks like, or anything like that. And then he called the dad, and the dad didn't even answer the phone, y'all. Like, that was a sad, that was sad to see. But you kind of see how you can see how in this particular story how it could affect someone not having their dad in their lives and not understanding, always having those questions of why they weren't there, trying to get answers and things like that, how it affects their lives fully. You know what I'm saying? How it affects their lives in every type of way, how it affects their relationships with their spouse, their mom, their sister, their extended family, immediate family, how it affects that. And now it seems as if during that particular part, as if Pedro has kind of leaned on Chantel's family, because even though Chantel's family has, their challenges and issues and stuff like that with each other, which every family does, they appear to be a close-knit family. Like if something go down, they're gonna be like this. You know what I'm saying? They're always going to come together when they need to, right? And families go through things. Families have challenges. Families bicker. Families argue, fight, fuss, or whatever. And then, but again, that's, to me, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, that's my family. If I need them, no matter what, even though we are bickering, we might be going through a challenge, they always going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like they have this type of family, and so he's kind of leaned on them for that. And Chantel's mom, she was kind of standing in for his mom at that particular moment because he needed a hug. He needed someone to console him, a mother figure, and his mom just wasn't willing to do it. And she did it for him, like, don't say nothing, just let me hug you, being in that mother role. So, y'all, that's an interesting show to see when you talk about family dynamics and things like that. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna get on up out of here. I know I told y'all that I have a lot of things to do, but I've been on here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about mental health. This is where you can get your questions answered regarding mental health for yourself or someone else. And please let me know what you all want to see on this channel, or what questions you have, and I will address it on the next video. Make sure again that you like, comment, and subscribe. For those who subscribe already, thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.